Thank you, thank you. Look, I need to start my side's argument for theism and against atheism by saying that I trust what science tells us about the history of the universe, and I do so because I think that the scientific evidence points us directly to there being a God. Let me explain. And I think by the time that I finish, you're going to regret having decided to try to take us on your own. Anyway, let's start with the cosmological evidence. A lot of my theist friends reject the whole notion of the Big Bang as absurd, but I don't, because I accept the science and because it tells me that the universe had a beginning. And if that's the case, then it had to have had a beginner. Let's look at the incredible precision evident in that beginning. Stephen Hawking wrote, "If the rate of expansion 1 second after the Big Bang had been smaller by even 1 part in 100,000 million, the universe would have recollapsed before it ever reached its present size. In other words, there would be no universe." Furthermore, if the ratio of the electromagnetic force constant to the gravitational constant were greater by more than 1 part in 10 to the 40th power, then electromagnetism would dominate gravity, preventing the formation of stars and galaxies. And the further back in time we're able to see and measure, the closer we come to the big question. And that is, what caused the Big Bang to bang? Was the Big Bang a natural process? No! How could it be? Physicists from the time of Einstein have agreed that time, matter and space are co-relative. In other words, time, matter and space could not exist without each other. Without them, there's no nature. There's nothing. How then could the sudden explosion into existence of time, matter and space have come out of nature? Nature couldn't have created nature. It's impossible. And if it wasn't a natural phenomenon, then there can be no explanation other than a supernatural phenomenon. But look, we can look closer to home. We don't need cosmology. Now think of DNA. The code inherent in DNA is nothing if not a very long message. All messages have to have come from a mind. We now know that even the most basic form of life is packed with more information than 1,000 complete sets of Encyclopedia Britannica. And do you know which scientist said that? Richard Dawkins, the atheist! He admits it. He just won't admit that this is far too complex to have just sprung up, or even to have developed gradually by natural processes. And look, we haven't even gotten onto the topic of morality. Again, one of my colleagues is sure to go into more detail on this point later, but I'll just say that if there is no God, you can't say that anything is morally wrong, because you're just saying that your morality, and even your sense of reason and logic, are all based on nothing more than chemical reactions occurring in your brain. I'm sure it's obvious by now to everyone that even if we don't take the first few chapters of Genesis completely literally, that all of this incredible science proves beyond any doubt that the God of the Bible is real and is the creative designing force of the universe after all. So, atheist, if you'd like to just concede defeat, we'll understand, we'll be gracious. Perhaps we can all celebrate communion together, since the evidence I've presented has just proven that the Bible is true, and therefore that it must logically follow that Jesus was born of a virgin, and that he rose from the dead after being sacrificed as remission for our sins, and...
Whoa, hold it there a second, won't you?
Wait, just let me finish. Can't you see now, atheist, how since astronomers can't explain the intricacies of the origin of the universe, that only means that we can and should trust absolutely the stories of the Bible instead? Given the incredible science that I've just outlined here, can you see now that far from being the ignorant scribblings of desert-wandering Iron Age animal-sacrificing genocidal bigots, that the Bible now stands on its own as divinely revealed truth, and does so because of what we see in modern scientific observation and theory?
What?
How
Why
can
are
you
you saying that?
Wait a sec. How can you deny now that Jonah really was swallowed by the great fish and lived? That foreskins and menstrual blood really are abominable to the causative force behind the Big Bang. Or that they used to be, at least. It's all true, see?
Wait, hold on, really. I've got to stop you there. I know we're here to argue with the atheist, but why are you saying that the scientific evidence you outlined proves that your particular religion is true, and the Bible? Sorry, friend, but the evidence gives complete credibility to the Quran, not the Bible. Your entire argument was leading up to that exact point until he went off on that weird tangent right there at the end.
What do you mean?
Well, all the cosmological and teleological arguments that you cited support the Quranic view, that the universe had a creator who designed and fine-tuned it to accommodate life.
Hold on.
I get it. You're saying that the cosmological, teleological and moral case for there being a power outside of what's detectable through science supports the argument for one of those man-made, invented God characters. No. See, it supports Yahweh because he's real and wasn't invented by men. End of story. Glad we sorted that out. See?
No,
now, I guess we should
no way.
probably...
You're both wrong. Allah, Yahweh, rubbish. The creator is Lord Brahma. I thought that's what you were
way.
leading up to.
Talking about
Come on,
Brahma.
hey. When I was invited to argue against atheism, I just automatically assumed that you meant we were here to argue for the Egyptian god Amun. Because he's the true creator deity, not these other silly fairy tale mythology
Guys,
gods.
what are you talking
I don't
about?
understand where you're coming from. Did I not just explain the evidence? Just 1 second after the Big Bang, it all could have ended. The incredible precision of the gravitational force. It points directly to Yahweh and Jesus. I don't know how you can come to any other
that's just your
conclusion.
religion. Look, science tells us that DNA is an incredibly complex message, see? And messages only come from minds, such as the divine mind of Lord Brahma, okay?
What are you talking about, man?
No. Look. Let me explain the evidence that supports Allah in all of this. See? If the rate of expansion 1 second after the Big Bang had been smaller by even 1 part in 100,000 million, the universe would have recollapsed before it ever reached its present size. That's Stephen Hawking speaking. And combine that with the fact that the Quran says that Allah is the originator of the heavens and the earth, and Islam is proven to be the one true religion.
That evidence is pretty strong, I'll grant you. Hold on, that Stephen Hawking thing is an argument for Yahweh and Jesus, not for Allah.
Rubbish, it's nothing of the sort.
Okay?
Oh, look, maybe I need to spell it all out for you again. Just hold on a minute, you. Wait till I sort this out before you give us your inevitably pathetic and ill-informed response from your atheistic agenda. This won't take long, alright? Look, guys, if the gravitational force was changed just 1 part in 10 to the 40th power, the universe
I
would
know
have...
that.
I heard you the first time. Look, if you just open up the Bible, you'd see that it says that the biblical God, who is also Jesus in a way that you're incapable of understanding, created the heavens and the earth. So who else could it be who fine-tuned the universe for life? You lot don't have a leg to stand on. Those made-up gods were invented by people in a period of history when people just didn't understand the world around them and invented fictional gods to answer their questions. Oh, wait, everybody, wait a second. I just had a thought. Maybe the cosmological, teleological and moral cases for deism actually don't favour any of our particular theistic religions over any of the others at all. And maybe by using those arguments to attempt to lend credibility to our religions, we're actually making really wild and illogical non-sequitur arguments.
But my religion has a really old book.
But my religion inspired amazing feats of construction and architecture. But our book is so full of truth that only some parts of it contradict each other. I mean, no, they don't. And actually, come to think of it, my religion must be right because when I pray to Jesus, sometimes events play out in a way that appears to be maybe a little bit more directed than what the natural course of events or simple coincidence is likely to have led to. Okay, then I take your point. Atheism is utterly false, and let's just leave it at that. Either way, listen guys, we've beaten the atheist and succeeded in making him look like an ignorant idiot. Because even having an explanation that reads like mythology is better than simply saying we don't know everything yet, or whatever stupid things those atheists say. But how are the 4 of us going to work this out between each other?
Oh, I don't know, we could just fight a war over it. That's how people with different religions have traditionally argued for the truth of their claims, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can't really sort it out by arguing logically about facts, since no convincing supporting evidence for any of our worldviews actually exists.
Oh, yes, it does. The fine-tuning of the universe supports Lord Brahma having been a guiding influence
that
on
is
the
Be
so
quiet.
unconvincing.
Oh, shut up with your frickin' fine-tuning argument. Yeah, and even if there was good objective evidence supporting one of our religions over the others, we wouldn't take any interest in looking at evidence that didn't fit with our own existing dogmatic religious views, would we? Yeah, you're right about
that's
that.
right.
Okay, then, war it is.
Okay, but you guys ought to be warned, though, that the one true God is on my side, not yours, okay? Rubbish, yours is just a filthy false god.
Come on, you infidels! Out in the car park, now!